All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Kirsten Thompson. I am your host of More Than Magic and Black Men Speak. And today, the episode that we have, as you can see, I'm sitting here with four Black gentlemen who are going to be sharing their expertise and knowledge with us. I also want to let you know who we are. This is VodPod Media. We are a multimedia production company on the east side of San Antonio, Texas. And we have a really great program in store for you today. So, also, I need to say, because I'm working on this, please like this moment and like this post and take a moment to share it. So, all right, we are going to get started. I'll let everyone introduce themselves. I'll start to my right.
Right. My name is Mohammed Zainal Abdeen. I am the owner of Hood Gangs Fitness and King's Loose Crowns Clothing.
Good afternoon. My name is Dwayne Snape. I am a licensed professional counselor here in San Antonio, Texas, and the owner and lead therapist at Chosen for Hope Counseling Incorporated.
Thank you.
Nice. My name is Jeremy McDonald. I'm co-owner of MacFit Athletics.
And I'm Patrick McDonald Jr., the other co-owner of MacFit Athletics.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. I wanted to start out the show with a quote. We are actually streaming this live to the Black Fitness Club, and one of our admins, Jeremy P.T. Smith, said something that was very profound, and I think this is a good framework to start the show off with. He said, "Fight for your health now so that you don't have to fight for your life later." And that was very poignant. So I think I would like to start with asking each of you all what your idea of health is, because we hear health, fitness kind of, just tossed around as loose terms. What does it mean to you to be healthy or to be fit?
Well, I would say for me, it's a lifestyle. It's not just about how you look; it's about how you feel. One aspect of it that people don't think about is the mental. Your mental health is very important. Not just how you look, but how you feel about yourself. Because it's a lot of people that look good that feel horrible about themselves.
Absolutely.
So that to me, that's one of those things.
I believe, I'm a firm believer that we are mental, we're emotional, physical, and spiritual beings. And so we have to appreciate, understand, and take care of each of those aspects of who we are. And in doing so, we will take care of our entire wellness.
Mm-hmm.
I believe all of those pieces encompasses us as an individual, a person.
Right.
That's what fitness and wellness is to me.
Kind of to piggyback on exactly what he said, for me, it's a three-part process, mental, physically, and spiritually. And so for me, to being healthy is just making sure you're balanced in all those areas and making sure you're taking care of everything you need to be taken care of in those areas. So if it's working out physically, spiritually, reading your Bible, going to church. For me, healthy is just making sure I'm taking care of those three assets and making sure I'm balanced in all those areas.
Balance, yes.
Yeah, just to add something quick, and these guys are pretty much hitting it right on the head and right in line with kind of how I feel. It's just the holistic approach to it, just mind, body, and soul. Just trying to keep yourself in line as much as possible. I think we see a lot of times, like my man says, kind of what do you tell yourself at the end of the day when you look in the mirror? What are you telling yourself? A lot of times we lean more towards just the athletic side or the fitness side, the aesthetic of things, but really it's the internal, how you feel about yourself, what you're doing for your community, being just a well-rounded overall, a well individual. So.
Right. And I actually wanted to read something from your website. I normally don't have my phone in my hand during the show, but I wanted to read this directly from your website for MacFit Athletics. You say, MacFit Athletics is not just about physical fitness and performance. It's spiritual and mental as well. It's about continual growth and change in everything we do in life. It's a mindset that's centered on simply being better. We want you to be the best you. And I feel like reading that, even though that's on your website, everyone is sort of echoing the same sentiment, that it's not just how you look or, how many muscles you have. So I'm curious, usually when people are living a life where they're trying to stay balanced and working to be healthy, there's something that brings you to that point. So whoever would like to answer first, what was the impetus? What was it that made you pursue a lifestyle where that was like the core?
Well, for me, I'm a firefighter. So mine started when I was trying to get onto the department.
Ooh, because it's intense.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah. And so that started the love for it. After that, just staying in shape, and then really just setting goals for myself after that. How I wanted to look, things I wanted to do. Once I had my son, wanting to be able to, play with him and run around with him. He was running track for a little bit, and I found out that running track is a lot different than lifting weights.
And you can't let him beat you, right?
No, he gonna beat me soon. He's getting up there.
It's not yet.
It'll happen eventually.
I told him you might be faster than me, but I'm gonna still be stronger than you for a little bit.
Right.
But that was it. It was just and then the way my body felt. My body started to feel a lot better. And then you start to see different people. You set goals for what you kind of want to look like. I started connecting with different people in the gym and started to learn kind of how to properly lift weights, how to properly eat, and stuff like that. So I think from there it just gained I gained momentum for it.
Right.
I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, we can just jump in. This is like double dutch. You just get in
I'll
where you
just-
fit in, because I think if we all go like one by one around, so you can just feel free to answer, and if you don't want to answer, we'll just move on to the next.
I'll say this. Just growing up and then joining the military, military has a lot of focus and emphasis on physical wellness. And sometimes you can focus on a thing and you'll neglect other aspects of it. And so they, the military is great at, physical and promoting and affording its members avenues to go to, the mental health and education and to take care of the full person. But inevitably, it rests back on yourself to focus on what you need to focus on. And just to give an analogy, it's like not taking care of your spiritual health, your mental or intellectual or emotional health is akin to the dude in the gym or the girl in the gym lifting weights and doing chest and arms, and they're not focusing on leg day at all. So their legs are like, yeah. You can't expect to have strength in your legs, which is an important part of, your complete overall physical wellness, right? Your core, and if you're just doing triceps and biceps every day, chest day every day, nah, it's not going to be.
There's no balance.
Not at all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. Because you see a lot of people. I'm sure y'all have seen it in the gym. You see them for years, and nothing changes. Nothing changes, and then you start to ask them like, well, what are you doing? And they'll tell you all the workouts they're doing, but then when you ask them about their meal plan, they're like, oh, well, I eat healthy. And everybody thinks eating healthy is eating a salad, but it's more than just, eating a salad and a piece of chicken here and there.
Right.
It's a process. It's a process, and you have to make it into a lifestyle for it to work.
So let's talk about the process, because I think the main thing that people have difficulty with is beginning the process, knowing where to start. It's very intimidating for a lot of people. So, they may see someone who looks like you, gentlemen, you're all in shape, you can tell you take care of yourself, and they know that there's something they have to do to get there, but they don't know what it is. So where would you recommend starting for the person who is completely novice, has no knowledge of what it takes to start that step?
I'll say this. I think first off, we have like a microwave mentality when it comes to things. So if we do something for 2 days and we don't see results, we're already ready to quit immediately anyway. So I think getting off of that mindset and being able to, a process is going to take some time. We're going to have to buy into the process, be committed to the process, and then seeing change. I mean, to answer your question, there's so many different places you can start. Kind of depends on what the person's goals are. Depends on where they're starting from or where they're starting at. I think the best and easy thing to do, everybody has access, is go outside, start moving outside. Walking is an easy thing to do. Start walking from there, get with somebody, get with a program, add some weights into it, get the diet under control. Diet is 80% of the battle a lot of times, but getting rid of that mindset first off, that it's not going to happen immediately. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to buy into a process.
I did
It's gonna
5
take some
squats
time.
and my butt's not
Yeah,
big
exactly.
yet.
You know, it's that mindset. But
Right.
once you go there, there's getting some help. Looking outside yourself sometimes. I mean, there's lots of programs out there. My man said he does online programs. You can hop online. There's so many different things out there. Find something, and then just ask for help. I mean, a lot of things we can do out there, but look for some help out there. But go ahead.
Just to add, I think just the basics. You got to find something that keeps your heart rate up for at least 30, 45 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. I tell people to find something to do that. You don't have to bench press. You don't have to do CrossFit. Whether you're walking, you can swim. If you have a dog, walk your dog. Something that's getting your heart rate up 30, 45 minutes, 35 times a week, whatever that may be. Find something like that. Like my brother said, there's all sorts of avenues you can go through. Online training. I think there's free workouts on Netflix right now. You can hop on YouTube. I think the age where we're in, everything, you can literally hop on your phone and get access to it. So the knowledge is out there. Everything is out there at your fingertips. It's just that you have to be intentional with yourself and say, hey, this is where I'm falling short at, and then take that next step to kind of get there. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about technology, because it really does bring the entire world to your doorstep. So there's almost no, I don't want to say excuse, but we can all do something just to get ourselves moving.
Yeah.
You were going to.
I was just going to say, oftentimes, we learn patterns and behaviors from our Genesis family, the family that we were born into, we grow up. And so our parents, oftentimes, because of what their social or economical position is, they got to work. And so they don't model working out. I know my mom and my pops, my mother and father didn't, they weren't going to the gym, right? And so, I had to learn that as I got older. So one of the things that we can do is we can start modeling and teaching our children at this age, not just about physical wellness, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, finances. These are all things that work together to make us whole and healthy. And we should focus on these things to try to help us be better people.
Yeah.
Actually, that brings me up a story. We used to have a client that come to our class, but he would bring his kids to the class just to see me working out. Not to participate in the class, but just so they can see, what we're doing, what we got going on, but to see me actually out there working. I thought that was a good thing. I kind of brought that up. So that's a great point. Great point.
Yeah. And in our, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say with your question, funny, I did a video this week, a series of videos, and it was on patience, persistence, and purpose. And that's where you can start. You know what I mean? Find what is your purpose for getting fit? What's your goal? What's your motivation? What's going to push you to get up every day and do this? You know what I mean? Because they look at us and they're like, oh, well, y'all are already fit. Well, we weren't always fit. And if I stop doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to be fit. So what's your purpose? And then persistence. Once you find that purpose and you start to do something, know that it's not going to be easy. You're not going to get it in 1 week. You're not going to get it in 1 month. It may be 2 or 3 months before you start to see real change, but you have to continue. Because somebody told me once, like, you didn't get fat overnight. You didn't get unfit overnight. So it's going to take some work to get down, and you got to break down the layers, which leads to the next thing of being patient. You got to be patient. You got to trust that if you do the work, the goal, you're going to meet your goal. We start to do the work and we look at the end, right? Especially online. You see everybody got abs, everybody got a BBL, everybody got, everybody's body looks tight. Right. And so once you start working out, you're sweating a little bit. You're like, ooh, I don't look like that yet. Yeah. And it's like, well, you don't know what they've been doing. You don't know what they've taken. You don't know if the body is real. You don't know, how long they've been doing it. So you have to be patient, and you have to you set a goal high enough that you can reach it, and also know how to be realistic, right? You're not, if you're a skinny frame, you're not gonna look like Beyonce. Right. You know what I mean? If you're thicker, if you're thicker, you're not gonna get down and be, and if you start to lift weights, you're not gonna look like a man. Like, those are things that we really have to get our mind out of that mentality of thinking, for women, if I start to lift weights, I'm gonna look like a man.
That's the number one thing I hear
Yeah.
people say. Like, I don't want to look like a man. It's
I think my brother was saying it and touched on what you like. We live in an age where we want instant gratification, and so we have to practice disciplines that's going to allow and help us to delay our gratification. We don't have to feel like we need satisfaction immediately, and so that takes discipline.
Yeah. But he talked about, too, your purpose. One thing we always say, we even have written on our board in class, is what's your why? It always goes back to what's
Bring
your
your
why.
mic
So
up.
if you-
Bring your mic up.
sorry,
It's
I'm
okay.
already-
It's okay. You're
Well,
feeling it, but we
one
need
thing
to
we
hear you.
always say in class, and he touched on it earlier, was talking about your purpose. But we always say, "What's your why?" It ties back into what's your why. So if you ever get to that point where you're not motivated, you go back to your why. Okay, what's my why? My why for us has always been family. It's been like the core. Our family. We do this for family. We do this for a legacy. What we're trying to build for the future. So when you get to those points where you're tired, what's my why? What's my purpose? Like you said, okay, bam. That's your motivation right there. And you keep going back to that moment. That's what keeps you motivated. That's what keeps you going in those hard times. So I'm glad you guys said that.
My new saying is not every day I want to do this, but every day I do this. So, you just gotta find your purpose. You get up and you do it, and you have your goal in sight. What do they call it? A goal board or
Like a vision
a
board.
vision board?
Right.
Yeah. You have a vision board on my computer. I have a vision board of the things that I want. The body that I want. There's this guy named Lucky Libra. He's a bodybuilder. So when I was competing, that was the vision that I had on there. I have a car that I want to drive. I have the house that I want to have, and the vacation spot that I want to go to. It's just something to keep it always in the back of your mind, that even when you're during those times when you don't want to do it, you can see it and be like, okay, this is why I'm doing it.
Dwayne, I want to ask you about the vision board, because it's something that I practice and I get made fun of for, because I vision board everything. But can we talk a second about like how strong the mental connection is that allows us to do those things that we envision?
Absolutely. There's a scripture that says if you write the vision and you make it plain, right? We need to be able to see and visualize the goals, the objectives, the things that our hearts desire. So we have to literally write it down and literally put it somewhere where we can see it. And once we see a vision, we can start working towards attaining that vision. Again, back to the lifting weights. You can't lift weights and then go to the mirror and be like, "Ooh, I'm swole." No, nothing. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. So if we write our goals down and we're strategic and intentional about achieving our goals, then we'll put ourselves in a better position to attain what we want. So we got to literally see that, though. We got to literally write that vision down so we can see that vision and work to achieve that vision.
Right. So we're talking about like being strategic and following through on a vision that we've seen. But I'm sure a lot of people will still say, but how do you do that in a day? Because we all live very busy lives. And just the fast pace of our world can be a challenge to keep balance. So what is like, let's start with you, Patrick. Like, what does a day look like for you? Because I know that you both have this company with MacFit Athletics, but you all also have other secular jobs that you do. So that could be very daunting for someone. How do you structure your day to get to make that a priority?
Where do you start, man?
4 a.m. No.
No, I mean, honestly, 4 a.m., 4:30, for real, to be real with you. And that's to start that way, you have to even be disciplined to make sure you get enough sleep to even make sure you can get up that early.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing that I've been focusing on this season of my life, because I need to get more sleep. So being more intentional about getting my sleep so I can start my day. To answer your question about a day, we have classes in the day in the morning. From the morning classes, I'll actually run to my secular job. I do subcontractor work, so I work in construction. I'm on my feet all the time. From there, throughout the day, we'll run back to a class in the afternoon. We may have 2 classes, 3 classes, depending on how it goes. But I think health, and even be able to do that, you have to be physically strong. So we always practice what we preach. We live this lifestyle, and so that's why I'm even able to be up in the morning, be able to do this, work 2 and 3 jobs, and be able to come back and teach class. But being disciplined for me, I think one staple for me is being disciplined even about my sleep, so I can be up to be able to help people.
Say that again. Disciplined about your sleep.
Being
'Cause
disciplined about my
almost
sleep.
everyone I know kind of struggles with getting enough rest.
For
So
sure.
do you have like, I heard someone describe it as like a sleep ritual. I don't know if the word ritual is right. Or a sleep regimen. Hygiene. That's a better. Thank you for that. Thank you.
After my second class, I'm already in mode to shut it down for the day. So I'll rush home and get as quickly as I can to my shower. But one thing I use, we have technology. I have an app, or not the app, but it literally will tell you, hey, this is your bedtime. You need to start shutting it down. It shuts off my alarms. It shuts off to where I can't receive texts and calls in. So it's shutting all that stuff down. So I think using technology, but just having your ritual to where, if you don't when you start falling outside your ritual, you start messing up. So I think just making sure I'm hitting my time frames on when I'm getting out of class, and just kind of, making sure I'm shutting it down at a proper time so I can get up early in the morning. And Jay, what you got?
As far as like a normal day for me, or how do we
I was going to say, you
how do we
glossed
manage-
over some things.
how do we manage it all? Is that the
Yeah,
question?
that's perfect.
You got to have a good team. So even the way we're able to do or even have the gym is because we have a great team. We have two trainers that work for us, Coach Daria and Coach Jasmine. They're the type of people that you tell them once and they got it down pretty much. They have a heart for the people, so it takes a lot of pressure off of us in certain aspects where we're able to go and do other things. I grow the business. My brother's able to grow his business as well, doing his telecom. One thing that I do that I do as well is I build SharePoint sites. I do e-learning. So I'm really big on training and how information is getting out to your company. So it's one thing that I've learned personally that I implement into my own business. So how we're able to do it all is just teamwork, number one, and just being accountable with each other. Hey, we're doing our little check-ins. Hey, you need to be shutting it down right around this time. What are you doing on your phone? We have the pleasure of living together, so it makes it really easy. We're brothers. We know each other's schedule. And at this point, we're conditioned for it to handle and manage it all. My father's military. We're ex-athletes, so waking up at 4:30 hasn't been a problem since I can't remember. So it's something that we're used to. And just overall, I think it's just teamwork and accountability, somebody to keep you accountable when you're falling off or when they see you kind of veering off when you're not in the lane. When they see you focusing more on the physical, not on the mental, not on the spiritual, they're able to kind of snatch you, be real with you, and kind of get you back in line.
So, Dwayne, I want to direct this question to you. How important is it, not just with fitness, but with any endeavor in life, to have accountability partners, to have support, to have a structural...
Yeah, team is important, family is important, a partner is important, somebody who's vested emotionally, physically, spiritually, wants to go the same direction as you. You can go further, you can go longer, you can go harder, you can go faster. I also want to speak to, it's critical, it's really important, not just in physical wellness, spiritual wellness, all the things that you are intentional about it. Like people who are intentional and strategic and have goals, they go further, they're successful. I heard somebody say, I don't know how to say it, it goes, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
if you half-heartedly, I want to use another word, if you half-heartedly do stuff, then the likelihood, the possibility exists that, guess what? When you cook, you're going to half-heartedly do stuff. When you work out, you're going to have, when you go to get your clothes, when you go take a shower, you got to practice and be intentional about everything that you're doing.
I think my coach used to say that you play how you practice, and you
That's
practice
right.
how you play, something like that. Yeah, you mess around in practice, that's how you're gonna play in the game.
Right.
I'll say this to say what he said. Your circle is real important. I think a lot of people fail because their circle is not tight, and they don't want to leave that circle, right? So you're comfortable there, but they're not good for you, and you have to realize they're not good for you. For me, my wife is able to do other things when I'm not able to do it. You know, she's able to hold down the fort if I need to get up early and train. I have the luxury that my kids are a little bit older now, so I don't have to take them to school, you know. So I would say for people who, whether they're single with kids or just have a lot to do, you can start just by changing eating habits. You know, it doesn't have to be drastic. You can start with a couple of meals that are just healthy meals. You know, and your kids will eat them. You know, you cooking. When I was young, what was on the table is what you ate.
Listen.
You know what I mean? So all this, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. No, you're gonna have what we got here.
Right.
And no, they might not eat the first couple of nights, but they get hungry enough, they'll eat. They'll try it. And so it is. You just have to recognize those things and slowly start to make a change. Not everybody can just do a 180 and go the opposite direction and start living their life like and it's even hard for us. We have struggles, I know I struggle with burgers. Burgers are my weak point.
I'm glad you're saying, though, this is real, because people will look at you and probably be like, oh, he probably, counts every calorie, weighs all of his food, is but it's natural, I think.
So right now I'm on competition prep. So I have to weigh all my food. And when I'm coaching people, I tell them, weigh out your food so you know how much you're eating,
right,
how much you're consuming. But we all have times where we just want to, go out with the family or, hang out with our friends, and you don't want to be bringing your meal prep, especially if you've reached or you're close to that goal. You can allow yourself some freedom. The key to it is being disciplined enough to know this is just one meal, right? Not make it into a day that turns into 2 days, that turns into a week. Then a month later, you're like, all right, I need to get back on track. And it's like,
well, let's talk about that, though, because so we'll talk about the physical part of this and then the mental as well, because some people will say that you should never have a cheat meal. And then other people say, well, eat what you want not eat what you want, allow yourself a treat every now and then, because if not, mentally you're in like deprivation mode. I've heard both sides of that argument, and I'm curious as to what you all think about that.
I say this. Our biggest problem is that we let food control us, right? What is a cheat meal, right? If you look at food as fuel for your body, then that's all you need to do. Right? It's the mentality of, I need to have that, or I want to have that. You have to have that self-control to say, yeah, it tastes good, but it's not good for me, right? An alcoholic that gives up alcohol doesn't lose the taste for alcohol. He knows it's bad for him, and he knows once he tastes that alcohol, he's going to go down a certain path. So you have to be strong enough and mentally strong enough, and that's why you have to work on all of them, the mind, body, and soul, because you have to be mentally strong enough to not go down that road. So you shouldn't give yourself a cheat meal. Calling it a cheat meal is like, if you're married and you're going to have a cheat day. There's no cheat day. You know what I mean? There's no day for you to go out and say, okay, today's not the day.
Right.
It's a commitment.
Right.
And you're committing to yourself. So if you can't commit to yourself, who are you going to commit to? If I can't control myself enough to say, all right, I need to get on point, and there's no more bad stuff for 6 months, then I have to be able to do that for myself, not for nobody else, but just for me. And I think that's where it starts. It's kind of weird.
Okay, what y'all think?
My bad.
I was just gonna tell him I'm gonna eat a burger for you, Muhammad. and then he bring up the whole discipline thing. My words exactly.
We'll get you a veggie burger. Not the same. But I'm curious, do you all feel the same way? Because I've heard both
I can
sides.
just speak on what I practice, and I can just keep it there. Usually throughout the week, I have meal preps that I get made. A local company here, another entrepreneur that I know has kind of started this company, so we're kind of just helping each other out that way. So usually throughout the week, all the way through Friday, I'm pretty much tight with my meals. It's all healthy. I usually start my day with a kale spinach smoothie with oats, berries, and things like that. And where I start to give myself a little bit of slack is like during Saturday. On Saturday, I'll usually have like pizza, burger, something like that. Even today, I had like like a turkey sub from Zito's. That's what I ate for lunch. But I think over time, when you keep yourself kind of in discipline, those cravings actually start to curve, and you won't even crave it as much. And then you'll notice your cheat meals, quote unquote, you'll start to have less and less of those, and then you'll start incorporating more healthy options on your quote unquote your cheat meals.
Right.
So during the week, that's all I can kind of speak. That's what works for me.
Yeah.
And then right back into Sunday is kind of where we start getting tight again, and it helps with our schedule. There's not really a lot of time to eat bad. I think at this point our bodies are clean enough to when we start putting bad stuff in there, the whole day is thrown off.
Your body rejects it.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. I'm sluggish, digestive system's thrown off. I'm not being able to go as long as I can throughout the day. We all have long days, so you eat bad food by 2-3 o'clock, you're ready to go take a nap. You know what I mean? And at that point, I can't afford that. There's people depending on us. We have clients, and I mean, we have to bring that energy. We have to be able to show up on a consistent basis for them. So it's deeper than just, hey, am I putting the right food in my body? I'm thinking about my clients, even when I'm eating as well. So it's about a business. It's about my brother. It's about my family. It's about legacy, even from what you're putting into your body. So
Yeah.
And see that, I didn't want to make it seem like you should never, right? But he's conditioned his body to do that, right? Like he can go back on Sunday. He'll have that one meal on Saturday, and then Sunday he's right back at it. When you're starting, you
That's
can't
the
afford,
difference.
you can't afford that cheat meal. Like you've been cheating this whole time. So it's time to clean it up. Then once you get to your goal,
Are we talking about fitness here?
Where are we going?
What are we doing?
Yeah, once you hit that goal, then you can, because you built that discipline. You built your routine. You know, and then your body does. Like when I eat, I love them, but when I eat them, I'm gonna feel like crap later, right? So then after I'm done, I'm like, I need to get back. I went 2 weeks, a few weeks ago. I was sick for 1 week. Took a flight out to see my friend get married and to see my mom, and I didn't eat bad, but I wasn't on my meal plan, and I could feel it. Yeah. I can feel it. It wasn't. I was lost almost. I didn't know what to eat, but my body didn't feel full and strong like normal.
I have so I'm not in the gym nearly as much as anyone in this room, but
whoa.
I'm not, because I don't. Yeah, I just don't. I go hiking. That's my gym. But I have a holistic doctor who lived to be almost 100. He passed away recently. And the smartest thing that he ever shared with me, he said, when you eat to feed your cells, not your stomach. Your stomach is secondary. And that sounds like, what everyone's echoing here. It's not just for the feeling of, ooh, I got to have that to be full, or it tastes good. You literally are doing it so that you can live a certain quality of life. I want to talk to you all about, in our community, there's a lot of diseases that we are told, well, that's just hereditary. Grandma had the sugar, I got the sugar. Someone has high blood pressure, so I have it. Auntie has it, uncle has it. I think we all know that is not necessarily true, that these things are hereditary. Can we talk about that for a minute? Because that is something that I think it's important to dispel so that people know that there are certain ailments that you actually can reverse.
Well, I think it's a cop-out when you say it's just hereditary. Some people are born with some diseases that they can't backtrack on. But a lot of it is really due to the diet that we have. A lot of greasy food, soul food. Exercise within itself can reverse a lot of those things. But like somebody was saying, we're not taught that. We're not taught to work out. Even growing up, playing sports, we're just playing sports. You're not really working out. So if you're not playing a sport, what are you doing? Football might be a little different, but even in football, it's about strength. It's about getting strong. It's not about health. And so our community, we're just not taught that. And then depending on where you are, you got so many other things to worry about that, working out and health and all of that is not.
It's not a priority.
You're trying to stay alive.
Right.
And so, I grew up in Oakland and we played basketball all the time. I grew up playing soccer, but I never really worked out, right? Like my dad was a runner, He ran long distances. I would run with him. I can remember from 2-3 years old, I would run with him. But that was just running, right? After we ran, my dad take me to McDonald's. You know, so, and that, my dad's African, so for him, it's a little different, you know. But, and yeah, we don't teach our kids how to eat healthy, to reverse or even
Prevent
some of those diseases. So then they're eating like crap until they're 20, and now it's, you know, sometimes it's too late, or they go in at 20 and now they got diabetes, and the first thing your doctor is going to do is try to put you on some medication. You know,
Absolutely.
but when you read about it, and you say, oh well, if I exercise, well, exercise takes work. So what's easier, to pop a pill or? And we've gotten into this life of instant gratification where we want it now.
Now.
I can take this pill and take this away. Oh yeah, give me the pill, right? Because if I work out, I got to work out for a minute before I start to see it. But you feel better.
A lot of these chronic illnesses can be controlled. And you talk about mental health. Well, a lot of these chronic illnesses, they induce anxiety, depression. And so, again, all things, they work together. Like you can't look at someone and get a snapshot, a picture of them, and then understand, you know, that, you know, their wellness. It's a complete package. Your physical well-being, your emotional well-being. If you are in the hospital for any amount of time, you're gonna be sad. You'll be depressed. If you have a test tomorrow, right, a physical fitness test, or you're gonna go play a sport, you're gonna have a certain level of anxiety. So, you know, we're not eating right. We're eating junk food. We eat McDonald's every 5 minutes, Whataburger or whatever it is, fried foods. It's gonna impact our bodies. It will impact our bodies.
Yeah. Jeremy and Patrick, I know that you all are working closely with clients like on a daily basis pretty much. Have you all had instances where your clients have come into you with a particular illness or sickness, and then 6 months down the year, you know, down the road, a year down the road, they're miraculously better?
I can talk about joint pain though. That's one thing I can definitely speak on, and that just comes with eating right as well. But I know consuming more leafy greens and proper hydration, eliminating excess meat, and then eating cleaner meats, eliminating like pork and things like that are going to help with the joint pain, especially with the weight loss. And Black people aren't hydrating properly as well. So if you're having joint pain, people aren't realizing even the water actually helps cushion the joints as well. So if you're not consuming half of your weight in ounces in water, at least, maybe even more if you're active, depending on your activity level, however much you're sweating, that could be some issues that you can have that way as well.
So say that again, half of your weight in ounces. So if I'm 140, I should be drinking 70 ounces of water a day.
Correct.
Okay.
At
I don't
least.
think
At
a lot of
least.
stuff. Okay.
At least, yes.
Okay.
And if you're active and you're sweating more, then you should up that a little bit and kind of maybe introduce some electrolytes into that as well. So
That's good to know, because I think a lot of people are just have been told you just drink 8 cups of water a day. Like no matter what your height, weight, or anything, you just drink 8 cups of water a day, and that's not. That's a fallacy.
Half your weight in ounces. One thing, actually, another take-home point, the half quarter rule. So if you take your plate, divide it in half, and you have your 2 quarters, that half should be at least leafy greens, and then you have a quarter carbs and a quarter proteins. A lot of times what we do in Texas, we got our mashed potatoes, we got our rice and gravy. That's normally that half portion. It should be at least half your plate should be at least greens, and then your quarter and then quarter. So something to take home as well when you guys are making your plates and your meals and things like that.
Yeah, that's good advice, because I've had people tell me that, you can have too much veggies, and I'm like, you really can't ever have too many vegetables.
Say it again.
It's not possible. Like nobody's ever died from a veggie
Say it
overdose.
again. Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't, cause disease. So, go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
If you're struggling to, consume more leafy greens, fruits, and things like that, one thing that we always do, and we do this at least two times a day, sometimes even 3. We get a blender, we dump as much leafy greens we can throw in there, berries, banana, whatever the case may be. We blend it and we drink it. It's quick, it's over. I mean, it's better than sitting there 20 minutes trying to get down that food. You can just add
Right.
water to it or juice or whatever the case may be, and you can get it down quickly. So
And you don't really taste it. I think a fear that people have is that when they blend veggies, that it's going to taste disgusting. But you just mentioned adding like your fruit to it to kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you have to play around with it. You have
Yeah.
to play around with it. First time you make it, it's not going. I've chugged down some pretty
Some
nasty
nasty.
protein mixed with, but you learn. You know,
Right.
you're like, oh, I ain't gonna do that one again. You know,
Right.
and so it's a process, and you have to just you have to stick with it.
Yeah, trial
No,
and
it's
error.
gonna get better.
Yeah, yeah. So now our illustrious Dwayne Snape has brought some statistics. He did some homework. And I really wanted to talk to our audience about, the mind-body connection is very real. They're not two separate entities, and we are made to operate as a whole person. How statistically, does working out and taking care of your physical fitness improve your mental health and vice versa?
Well, let me just say this, and I've kind of been singing this. Again, we're a total package. So wellness should consist of all of the components we've been talking about. Since I'm a therapist, though, I work with, target, and help people who are struggling with mental, emotional illnesses in their life. So I just want to throw out some things that have to do with mental illness. But remember that if you have a emotional problem, it's going to impact you in other areas. So these are some significant. These are from the Center from Disease Control, and the information is 2017. More than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness or disorder at some point in their life. 1 in 5 Americans will experience a mental illness in a given year. 1 in 5 children, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a serious or debilitating mental illness. 1 in 25 Americans live with a serious mental illness such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depression, or even anxiety. And so just having an appreciation of all of these mental health things that's going on, right? You can't just take that out and put it to the side. There are some economical, there's some socio-economical, there's some physical, there's some environmental, cultural dynamics that are impacting each one of these individuals. And then also another factor, like in the African American or Hispanic or Latino communities, there's a disparity in our ability to have access to care or wellness and food. And so all of these things contribute to our mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
So it sounds like, those are sort of startling statistics hearing them, because it makes you realize that it's not uncommon for people to have some sort of, mental illness or challenge that they deal with. So when you frame it that way, you have, it's a must to take care of your body, because if you are struggling with something mentally, that is going to fortify you and make you stronger. It's not like you even have a choice. That is what it sounds like to me. Like if these are things that you can, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, depression is real,
Absolutely.
right? Your mood can mess up your entire life.
Absolutely.
Your mood can throw off your whole life. And so some people, women, postpartum depression or grief, you can experience, a loss, significant grief. And your emotions can overwhelm you like a tsunami. And so up is down and down is up. And then, what do? It's really important that you look at yourself as a whole.
So I have a question for you, Dwayne. What do you suggest? Let's say I'm a person that's struggling mentally, and I am in bed under the covers every day with the lights turned off, and I feel like I just cannot move. I cannot get up to start that first step to go to the gym or go for a walk. What do you say to that person? Because there will be that person watching this show.
So that's great, awesome question. You know, everyone's situation is different. So in a vacuum,
Right.
to answer that question, a little challenging. So we mentioned and we talked about some family and team. Really important to have around you. So if you have someone that you can connect with, that you can walk with, when I mean walk, I don't mean physical walk, walking through life with, talking with, that's where it starts. And having like heartfelt conversations with people you love, your family, your friends, and talk about some, Muhammad was talking about like your goals, what you want, right? Your baseline, where you're going to start. But it's hard if you don't have the energy. Depression will make you feel like you don't want to get out of your bed.
Right.
So talking to people, definitely.
So I have sort of a personal question for anyone who wants to answer. Has anyone had an experience where they have had to battle something mentally and exercise has helped them, even if it's not depression, if it's, you know, a life circumstance that was really challenging and you found that going to the gym or going outside or, you know, going to the basketball court, do you find that it helped in some capacity?
I could say, like being in my line of work, we see a lot, and you know, you don't really have that time to, you know, when you see something, you can't just take off of work and go home and you know go talk to a counselor right now and get it done with. We kind of learn to live with it. I know for me, I found myself when I would go home directly from work, my irritation levels were a lot higher. I would be more irritable, especially with my kids. Going to the gym helps release it. There's days where I'm in the gym, and the people who know me know there's days where I don't talk to me. I'm working out, right? I might say hi to you from afar, and I'm
Right.
doing my thing. But it does, for me, it helps release some of that anger or tension or sadness or whatever it might be, because I don't, you know, that's not something you want to take home. It can be kind of heavy. So for me, the gym does that for me, and that may be why, I mean, some call it addicted to the gym, but that may be why I got to that point where I was in the gym all the time, because I didn't, when I started at the fire department, I wasn't in therapy. I didn't have a therapist, and so my love or my attraction to the gym came from being able to release that stuff when I went there. So I can say that was my experience, at least.
Yeah. No,
So
thank you for sharing that.
I really believe like that God created us to be in motion. Our arms, our feet, the way our eyes are facing forward. And there's studies shown and research been done. You know, when you're in motion, you're moving. Like if you're sitting still, stagnant, look at a body of water that's moving. Look how it differs from a pond that's staying still. Look at the life that flows and comes from it. When we're in motion, we move and things happen for us. It makes us feel better. Like our body is moving. Even now, as we all are sitting down in this studio, our bodies are moving. Our heart is pumping. Blood is flowing through our veins. Our mind, our neurons are firing. We're in motion. We're constantly in motion. And so we can't be we're sedentary. We can't be
Right.
sitting still. We can't sit down. We got to move.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a great point. Would either of you all like to touch on that?
I think
I mean, you do have
what was the
good
question
voice, but
you would ask before?
have you personally found exercise and working out and just getting up and moving, as Dwayne said, to be beneficial mentally? Like, have there been times in your life where you've had challenges and that's sort of what helped you process the experience of
Yes, for sure. I'll say this. I actually had to appreciate moving when I couldn't move. I tore my ACL 2 times, not once. So I think I've been active my whole life, played football. That's kind of even got me into being, into health and fitness. But when I tore my ACL, I was in a position where I couldn't move. I had to be, I couldn't walk. I had to relearn to walk. And it was a month process where I had to do this. And I think the mental struggle that I went through then, being depression, doing all that from that, and I think being a black male, sometimes we hold pride and we won't even open up and go through some of the things and kind of communicate with my family what was going through at the time. So, moving now, I appreciate it because I knew what it felt like when I couldn't move, when I couldn't walk, when I had to learn how to walk again and do all those things again. So, I appreciate it now at a different level. I think the doctor even told me at one point in time I got to change the way I do my activities. I can't go as hard in the gym as much as I can, but to answer your question, for sure. I think it took to the point where I didn't have it, where I had to, be rested to really appreciate, moving and being up and being active. So
Okay. Thank
Very,
you for
very
sharing that.
similar situation. I broke my foot twice in college towards the end of my senior year. You have all these plans that you think things are working out. You're going to graduate, whatever the case may be. At the time, I was actually getting some exposure for the NFL, so my dreams are getting ready to come true. What it feels like, and then a split moment, you have injury. So it kind of seems like, what this guy trying to get my attention? I'm extremely frustrated, depressed, the whole nine. And just it's kind of powerful is that what my brother just said is just the fact that I wasn't able to move, what my mind was going through during the process. I mean, as an athlete, we all can speak to this if you ever played sports, but it's a part of your identity a little bit, especially football players. It's such a brutal sport. It's such a physical sport. It's so demanding on your body and then on your mind, all the pressure. It took a toll on me, to be honest. And the kind of learning how to rest, actually, not how to be active, learn how to rest and actually figure out what kind of supplements should I be taking, getting to know about collagen, getting to my books to understand maybe I shouldn't work out this way. Maybe I should really understand how I had injured myself so it won't happen again. And then that way, when I have the opportunity to talk to younger athletes or in my position, maybe I tell them, hey, maybe you don't do this. I actually broke my foot, set me back, so on and so forth. But I think it being taken away from me will realize how important it is. And I think what you opened up with was extremely powerful too. You don't want to wait until it's taken away from you, until you have to go to the doctor. It's important to just do it now, whether it's 30 to 45 minutes of just walking or swimming or walking your dog or walking with your family. It's important to make it a priority now, because if it's taken away from you or you're having to, whatever it is, it's from sports or from illness, it takes a toll on you, and it will take a toll on you, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, the whole nine. So, got to make it a priority.
One thing he touched on that, it could turn into a whole nother show, but with depression. Depression with black men, black women in the black community, we don't have a way to deal with it, right? Like, I know when I was growing up, I think I might be a little bit older than y'all. I know when I was growing up, it was suck it up. You can't be depressed. What you depressed for? You didn't have that outlet. So a lot of people self-medicate. Which in turn, if you self-medicating, you're not gonna feel like going to the gym.
Right.
You're not gonna feel like getting up and going walking. And to get help for depression takes money. Healthcare and stuff like so. It's a lot that is against us when you're coming from an environment that doesn't have that assistance. I'm in a position now where yes, I can go get mental health care. I can go to a therapist and talk to a therapist, but it also costs a lot of money to do it. And if I had to decide between feeding my family and going to see a therapist, I'm gonna feed my family.
Right.
I'll be all right. But those things do compound, which goes into why there's a lot of single family homes. There's, fathers are I don't want to say fathers are not in the home, but the families are separated.
Right.
And so it is. It's a lot more than just, hey, start eating right and
Preach,
get up and get up and start go walking. It's like, man, there's a lot that we deal with as African Americans in America, and it's it can be tough.
Dwayne has something to say. I feel it.
You feel it.
Feel
You
it.
feel it. Real talk.
Speak.
For real. The first show we did together, we talked about why, as black men, we don't cry. And you touched on a lot of the things that contribute to our mental state, our emotional mindset. Crying has healing power. When you cry, your body releases chemicals. When we suppress our tears, what we're doing is we're not allowing ourselves to heal. So it's counterproductive to being healthy. One of the things we teach our sons at a very early age, suck it up. Don't be a punk. Don't cry. So we send a message, you need to be unhealthy. We have to practice. We got to make cool doing the things that's going to promote us being healthy.
Yes.
What Dr. Sebi said, he said, your food should be your medicine, and your medicine your food. My father would say it to me like this. He said, Dwayne, don't live to eat to live.
Yeah.
We just have to unlearn and rethink a lot of the things that we've been doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally had to check myself in dealing with my son, because I grew up in an environment where you had to be tough. You had to be quote unquote hard. You couldn't be soft.
It was a matter of survival.
It was a matter of survival.
Right.
So when I have my son and we're living, in the suburbs, and he wants to do stuff where he's crying because of this, and I'm like, man, why are you crying? And I would get upset, but then I had to realize like that was my life.
Right.
That was the life I had to live.
And you worked to give him a better life.
I worked to get him a better life, and
Yes.
now I'm trying to. I want him to grow up and be hard like he growing
Yeah.
up in my old neighborhood. And I had to realize like he has the ability to be who he wants to be, right? He can move how he wants to move. My kids can love who they want to love. Like they can just be them, without having to put on a front or a mask to please other people. And I think that's just such a relief that they can grow up without that pressure.
Yes.
Because that was the pressure I had to grow up with.
That's really good. As a therapist, one of the things I do, try to help people, because I have a similar background, maybe not the same, but growing up in the Bronx, and didn't want my kids to experience what I experienced. But what we end up doing sometimes is we create these bubbles, these pristine climates and atmospheres for our children to grow up and flourish in, and then it's unrealistic for them to operate in the real world. And so they can't because we put bubble wrap on them.
Right. So it's from one extreme to the other.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you find the balance? That's the question.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't no book on it.
Right, exactly.
There's no book on how to raise them in that way, and I
Right.
think it's new to us because there was the two extremes. You were either Will Smith or you were Carlton.
Right.
There's no
no third
middle
cousin.
ground,
Right.
Know what I mean? And so I think it's allowing them, not sheltering them too much, and allowing them to experience life and to experience some heartbreaks. Don't give them everything. That was my thing. I wanted to give them everything I didn't have. But what are they learning? at that point. Because me not having certain things is why I have the work ethic that I have. You know, when you give them everything, then they don't want for nothing. You know, so you give them everything that they need, not necessarily everything that they want.
Right.
You know, they'll want for nothing as far as food and shelter and
Right.
you know, trying to make the home as happy as possible and showing them love and stuff like that. But they don't have to have everything. You know, teaching them, you know, if the value of money, making them work. You know, don't just give them the money, make them work for it. And so it you know, I don't have all the answers for that one.
Yeah.
So
Nobody does. It's okay.
it's
This
a
is how
tough
we
one.
learn.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Okay, I feel like I thought you were. I see wheels turning.
They're always my man. See that?
I thought you were gonna
They're
jump
always
in.
turning. That's right. They're always turning.
So I guess my next question would be, if you had to sort of sum it up or encapsulate how paying attention to your body, paying attention to your mind, being aware and striving to keep or maintain balance, doing all of those things, what are the ways that you can almost list that it has improved your life? Because there has to be, you know, there's benefits, right? Some of them are seen, some of them aren't seen, but I'll start with you, Patrick. Like, how have you seen?
Being healthy has a life. I think just the strength factor. I think me working in hand with construction. I do a lot of lifting. I work with my hands sometimes, and so being able to do that and then still work, you know, with the gym outside, having the strength to be able to do that, being able to have the nutrition, the fuel source to be able to do those things. I think it's worked hand in hand, to be honest with you. So keeping it short.
I think personally, it's just helped me be consistent. Just prioritizing my health and wellness helps me show up on a day-to-day basis for whatever I have to do, whatever my goals and desires are. I'm able to be present in every room that I'm in rather than worrying about have I eaten or have I worked out today or how do I look or whatever the case may be. You feel more confident. You're able to go about your business. You're able to go further. You're able to go farther, longer. Yeah, it's helped me in almost every aspect of my life, honestly.
And you just said confidence, and your brother like co-signed you like in a split second within that. Can we talk about that? Because I also think or feel that having confidence can help you mentally and help you feel more secure in the spaces that you operate in and not feel like you don't belong or not feel like, you know, do I have a right to be here? Confidence is part of our mental health, I would say. What do you say, Dwayne?
Absolutely. But the word that he said that was key was being present.
Right.
And so that takes focus and discipline and moving and removing all the distractions.
How do people do that?
That's a great question.
Not within a vacuum. But yeah, how would you as a professional, because I'm sure you deal with people who do have a lot of distractions and can't seem to, you know, hone in on what they need to do to improve the quality of their life.
So one thing, again, systematically, you got to titrate. You have to like be intentional and take away some of the distractors in your life. So you got to write them out, and then, okay, I want to do, instead of doing these 10 things that have my attention, I want to focus on 5 of them. Usually when I work on goals with clients, I don't do more than 1 or 2 goals. And when I say I, the client, is coming up with 3 goals that they want to work on. And then we work on we prioritize them. So that's how you write your list down and you prioritize what you want to focus on, work on.
Right.
Because ultimately, you got to do the work.
Absolutely. And it sounds like writing those things down, you know, we're talking about vision boards earlier, and prioritizing that will help people across the board in life, no matter what. It doesn't have to be just about, it could be with your job, it could be things you want to improve with your family, it could be goals you have, it could be trips you want to take. Just learn to prioritize is what I'm hearing, no matter what it is.
Organization is a critical and key aspect of being a leader. Guess what? All of us are leaders.
Say it. Say that. I believe that, yes.
We are all leaders.
Yes.
Who are you leading?
Right. And where are you leading them to? Right, right.
And the writing down thing, I mean, I don't go work out without knowing what I'm going to do. You know, it just keeps you on track. So if it can work in the gym, why can't it work in real life? You know,
Right.
write down what you want to do, because we all get sidetracked. You know, something pops up, you're like, ooh, let me go follow that. You know, something comes up over here, ooh, let me go follow that. And now you've gone every which way but the way you wanted to go. So just writing it down sometimes will help you look at it and say, okay, no, this is what I need to be doing. This is my goal. This is number one. You know, let me get done with that. Then you can move on to the next one, you know. Because sometimes we stretch ourselves so much trying to do and appease everyone that we forget about what the whole purpose of why we're moving the way we're moving. So writing it down is crucial. It's
Yeah.
crucial.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's the easy thing you can do. You can do it on your phone.
Yes, yes. And so I just got, this always goes so quickly. I just got the sign from our producer that we only have 5 minutes left, even though I have like 10 more questions. I did want to, you all were talking about rest earlier. I think it was you that said it, Jeremy. And something just came to my mind, and I always quote her. There's a pastor, Dr. Laverne Witherspoon, and she said to me once, because I'm always all over the place, she said, rest is spiritual. And that was like those 3 words. It was very simple, but I think what can help people as they're trying to start a new path, you know, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's eating better, to also just give yourself permission to just chill out, just rest, and allow your body to kind of do its thing. You know, there's no perfect way to start any journey, but you also have to remember to like give yourself a little bit of space to rest. Because we don't have a lot of time, I want to go around and give each of you an opportunity to tell people where they can find you, how they can seek out your services, you know, and what you have to offer to the community. Because what we have here is very powerful. You each are providing something to the community that's very necessary and valuable. So I started with you in the beginning. I'll go this way this time.
Okay, so again, Patrick McDonald with MacFit Athletics. You can find us, and actually I let Jeremy go into all the details there,
Okay.
but MacFit Athletics, what differs with us in our gym, we're a functional fitness gym, and so the movements that we're going to be doing are going to translate into your normal life. We do a lot of mobility, things like that. I'll let my brother kind of explain where to find us, all the details there online, but yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, no, thank you. For
You
being
can
here.
find us online at macfitathletics.com, and then all of our social media platforms is just MacFit Athletics. We also do performance training, athletic or athlete-specific training as well. We work with some colleges and some schools around here in San Antonio too. A couple of things that we do free workouts for the community at Hemisphere all summer long. We have an annual push-up challenge that we do with Dream Week every year. And what that's about is just promoting health and wellness, and kind of like what we talked about today, just getting people to jumpstart and to do something.
Yes.
Whether it's 1 push-up or whether it's 20 or 500, it all goes towards the total of 1 million. And we try to, and so far, for the past 3 years, we've been hitting or exceeding our goal of 1 million. So
Wow.
that's something that we pat ourselves on the back for. It takes a lot of work, and our team puts a lot of effort into that. So that's one thing that we have going on. We visit schools around San Antonio as well. We're just trying to be more active in the community, just talking about the importance of health and wellness, not necessarily just working out, but kind of tackling some of these bad practices that we have that we've seen with minorities and some of the things that are going on in our community, specifically about nutrition and eating right. One thing that we like to do in every classroom when we're in there is we do like a shopping kind of scenario. We hold up fruits and veggies, and you'd be surprised what you hear these kids say about these particular fruits and veggies, or what's healthy and what's not considered healthy. It literally blows my mind every time we go. So that's some of the things that we have going on. Other than the gym, we just like to take a big role in our community in San Antonio. We feel like that's where the heart is. That's
Y'all
where
are
our
doing a
heart
great
is.
job.
And we're all about the people. So
Yeah.
not just physical fitness, we are about our city and we are about our people. So.
Yeah. Amen. Also, I just want to point out for those watching, it's Mac MAC, not Mac MC.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Always a pleasure to be here with you. I want to thank my brothers. This is an awesome experience. Thank you. So Chosen for Hope Counseling, you can find us at www.chosen4hope.com, www.chosen4 hope.com. To schedule an appointment, 210-547-8090. 210-547-8090. We accept most insurances. We have an awesome team of clinicians of color here in San Antonio, in the heart of the city. Look forward to it's our passion and compassion to help people walk through different various stuff.
And you said you have clinicians of color, and
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
want to reiterate that because I know I've referred people to your practice. We live in a city that has 6%, I believe, a black population, and it is very difficult sometimes for people to find mental health care with someone that they're comfortable with or they feel like they can identify with. So thank you for providing that because it's very much needed. Yeah. Mohammed.
So you can, thank you for having me on the show.
Of course. Thank you.
I did really enjoy this and enjoyed meeting y'all brothers. I guess if you want to reach me, you can reach me on my Instagram at _motivator_Z. Motivator is MOE. So, and my email, you can always touch bases with me through my email, www, Hoodgains, HOODGAINZ @gmail, hoodgains@gmail.com.
And I know you also wanted to, I want to give a shout out to your mother, Zarina El Amin Majid. She wrote a book about the mind, The
Yes.
Incredible Mind. You want to talk about that just for a
Yes,
second
so
as a
this is-
sign off?
This is her first book, Your Incredible Mind. It's a short read, so it'll go by fast. And it just gives you a glimpse on how powerful your mind can be. I think that's one thing we don't think about in the black community or just in any community, and when we're thinking about mental health or trying to get fit, it's just how strong your mind is. Your mind can make your body do what you want it to do, but you have to be in control of it. So you can, I asked her where you can get it from. She said you can get it on Amazon. So it's Your Incredible Mind by Zarina El Amin Majid.
Yes. And thank you for bringing that up about the mind. What is today? Saturday? Thursday night, I had a lovely young model here, Courtney Johnson. Shout out to Courtney. And she was talking about her creative process and how she makes a decision to move through the world in a certain way. And she just said, I am powerful. And I think that's it. We're all powerful. So anything that we want to see happen with our own bodies, with our communities, with our families, we can make it happen. So, and that's that on that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Right.
Forrest Gump voice.
Exactly. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. I really appreciate you all. And again, thank you for the viewing audience. Please take a moment to like this video, share it. This is a very important message. I actually had a dream about this series, and so I believe that we all have a voice, and the way that we use our voice is very important. So this platform is very personal and important to me, so share it. All right, thank you so much. Signing off. Thank y'all. Thank you so much.